Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Lovely to have you back, and if you're new here, I would really love it if you subscribe down below and click that like button. Are you doing it? I'm waiting. Thank you. Now let's get into the video. So you've probably seen the title by now, but today I wanted to talk about my mobility aids and disability and what helps me to live my day-to-day life. There is a lot of misconception about disability and how somebody should look and what mobility aids they should be using, when in reality we are all different, we all have different needs, and everyone's disability affects them in a different way. Somebody else who has EDS, I have EDS by the way, may not use the same mobility aids I use, and some people with EDS can walk. I personally cannot. So I'm what's known as an ambulatory wheelchair user, which is basically somebody who uses a wheelchair. However, I can use my legs. I do have mobility in my legs, but I do need crutches to get around. I can't walk independently. However, I can stand for short periods of time and move a little bit, which is why if you see on my Instagram, I will do some standing poses, but they are limited. I'm very limited with what I can do. And for the majority of the time when I do my yoga, it is seated, reclined. I have my hands placed down so I can carry my weight and stuff like that. Over the years, I've just adapted. But basically what I'm trying to say is there are some people who have completely invisible disabilities, and there are some people with clearly visible disabilities, but we are all unique, we're all different, and we all have different ways of living our life in order to help us. Now, when I first got my diagnosis, and first of all, I got diagnosed with Lyme. That was the first thing I got diagnosed with Lyme disease. I didn't want to accept it. Some of the first symptoms that presented in me was chronic pain, and I had really bruised and swollen knees, to the point where, so I can put my legs together now, but I couldn't do that before because they were bruised and swollen like balloons, because that's one of the symptoms of Lyme disease. And I couldn't walk. I had to hold on to walls. I had to lean on my husband. It was ridiculous. And I had to accept that I needed crutches and I needed mobility aids in order to live my life. But because of what society has ingrained in us, I somehow had this idea that it's embarrassing. People are going to think something of me. I'm going to be looked at a certain way. And it's really sad because I stopped myself from getting the help I need because of what I felt society wanted from me. And we shouldn't be doing that. If you need a mobility aid to live your life, you need a mobility aid to live your life. Just how some people need IVs, whatever. You need it in order to live your life and be the best version of yourself. So with that really long intro, I just wanted to show you what I use, what helps me, and how I go about my everyday life to make things easier for me. So firstly, the main thing that I use are knee supports, because although my knees aren't as swollen anymore, and now I'm on medication, which by the way, now I know that my swelling was due to Lyme disease and lupus, because my lupus diagnosis was roughly about 7 months ago now. And now I'm on lupus medication. My swelling in my knees has improved. I'm getting less arthritic symptoms. However, because of EDS, my knees are very unstable. I'm actually going to do a video on EDS in the future to talk more about it. But basically in EDS, you have collagen that's mutated, sometimes protein that's mutated, and oftentimes we have very unstable joints, along with a bunch of other things. But basically the first thing I use are knee braces. Now, these are the ones I have. They're nothing special. I get them off Amazon and I quite like them because they have a little bit of movement and you can shape them to fit your knees. So every time I get up, I put these on. I try to not have them on when I'm seated so that my muscles don't completely get lost or I don't become completely weak in my knees. And when I do sit, I try to move my joints about so that I don't get too stiff or get dislocations. So yeah, this is the first thing I do. I've tried a bunch of knee supports over the years. I've tried those tubey grip ones. I've tried a bunch of ones, and honestly, nothing is perfect. These do not stop my knees from dislocating. However, they help somewhat, and that's really all I can ask for, right? And so yeah, that's the first thing I do. The second thing is I, about a year ago, bought Forearm crutches. These are from a company called Smart Crutch, and I did a lot of research because when I was having physio, when I went through my physio, they told me that the crutches I was using, which are straight up and down the regular crutches that we have in the UK. I know in Canada and America you have the armpit crutches. Here in the UK the standard is the ones that you put your arms through. I'll show you because I still have them. And they advised me that these are better for people with EDS, and I do agree, because rather than putting all my weight on my wrists, I'm putting it on my forearms, which then takes pressure off my shoulder joints, and these give you much better posture. On the inside I have a bunch of padding because I'm prone to bruising from EDS, and it's nice because it has a lot more grip. Now this is from a company called Smart Crutch, not sponsored. I just really like these. What I also like about this company is that these were made for me. So I put in my measurements and they were made for my body. And if you're curious, I got a small. However, because I have very small forearms, I had to add extra padding on the inside, and that helped to fit me perfectly. Okay, so I'm gonna get up and take you around and show you what it is I do. So I typically put one arm here, one arm on wherever I'm sitting to press up like this, and then I will take my other crutch, and as you can see, I'm quite stable. I can stay upright, and my forearms are nicely placed on the crutches. My elbow, I'm not even sure if you can see this well, my elbow just about goes to the end, and that's what you want if you do get these crutches. Now I'm going to take you into my hallway to show you the stair railings I had fitted recently, because what I used to do is I used to actually walk up the stairs with my crutches, which is very dangerous, but that I had no other choice. So I was literally going like this with my crutches and walking up the stairs, and as you can see it is quite unstable, so I'm not going to do more than a step, but that's what I used to do. And my physio told me that I should get a railing fitted, which is what this is. This didn't used to be here, we only had the one initially. My physio told me to get a railing, so they had a technician come in to fit this at my height so that I could put weight on both sides and push myself up the stairs. So let's go upstairs. Before I go up the stairs, I put these in the corner here. Do you want to come round? I put these in the corner here, and then, although I've got no crutches, I have a set of crutches at the top of the stairs. So this is how I go up the stairs. I try to keep a straight posture and just not hunch or anything, because this is the good way to not fall, I guess is the best way to say it. So as you can see, I can go up fairly well. And yeah, as I get to the top of the stairs, you can probably see I have crutches here. And these were the crutches I initially used. Sorry if it's a bit dark here. These are the crutches I initially used. As you can see, they're pretty straight up and down. These I only use for the upper floor of my house, and that's it, which is fine, because then I don't get the wrist pain and the arthritic symptoms. The only time I really come up here is to sleep. So here is a bathroom when I need to go bathroom at night, and up here is the bedroom. That is the only time I come upstairs really. And yeah, now I'm going to take you downstairs into the garden to talk you through my wheelchair. Whoops. And that happens a lot, by the way. Chris is always picking up my crutches, tripping up on my crutches, all sorts. So yeah, I don't know if it's interesting for you to see how I walk on my crutches, so that's why we're filming this. Hi Luna, you're always getting in my videos. Hi, she's my little baby. She's always curious about what I'm doing, what I'm up to. She's like a little doggy. She follows me everywhere. And Chris gets jealous. Don't you, Chris?
Yeah.
So unfortunately in my house, I have this little stair, but because I know and I'm aware of my house, I just have to be careful. And we have a nice little red kitchen, which I'm in love with, and everyone compliments us on it. My mum came the other week to clean it for us because being chronically ill, it's really hard to do cleaning. Now I'm quite lucky I have a bathroom downstairs, but what's funny is when we first moved into this house, I was not keen about having a bathroom downstairs, but now I realise it was such a blessing. Anyway, the physio team, they have like a home visit team that came to see me, helped me to install these. I have these, I don't really know what this is called, but it helps me to go toilet. It's probably not a topic people want to talk about, but I place my crutches here and it basically just helps me to go toilet. And I have this in my toilet upstairs as well. And in terms of washing, I used to have baths because I can't really stand to have a shower. So I used to get in the bath. However, if you can see, it is quite a deep bath and it's really difficult to pull myself up. And especially with POTS, bathing in a hot bath can actually increase your POTS symptoms. So it's not something I want to do. Anyway, if you come round, our shower is here. And I'm quite lucky we have a big shower, and if I show you, I have a shower chair. I'm not going to show you too much in there. I'm not going to show you too much in there because it's messy. But you saw the shower chair. Now let me take you outside. Chris has set up my wheelchair for me. Normally the wheelchair lives in the hallway until I go out. Because as you can imagine, walking on crutches for a long time is very difficult for me. So, welcome to my garden. So Chris has nicely set up my wheelchair for me, and the sun has nicely come out now, just as I go into the garden. You can see I've got a little cat cushion to help with my back. Yes, I'm a cat person, if you didn't know. So, yep, this is my wheelchair, but before I get in, you can see I've got a cushion here, cat cushion. So it's comfortable for me, so yeah, I'm just gonna sit down. Sorry, it's school holiday, if you can hear kids in the back. There, can you just take my crutches, Chris? And if you pass me the other crutches, so I never take those crutches with me. Those are my house crutches because you can see they're quite bulky. So if Chris can pass me my crutches that I use to go up and down the stairs, put these down so that my feet are nice and comfortable. I try and keep my knees as straight as possible. I don't want to do this because that could cause dislocations. These crutches, although they're horrible, they come with me and I put them on the side here. You can see they fit quite nicely on the side of my wheelchair because the other ones are too bulky. And I always take my crutches with me because in London and in the UK we have very bumpy pavements. The roads are not smooth. And sometimes I need to get out of my wheelchair and I need to do things like go on an escalator and things like that. We don't have accessible places everywhere here. Departing from platform 1. Especially with the small roads, and there's a bunch of times where I've had to take these because not everywhere has lifts and stuff like that. walk around the wheelchair. It's nothing too fancy or special. It is your bog standard wheelchair. I have the big wheels. I know some people have smaller wheels, and there's handles in the back where Chris typically pushes me. I can push myself, however I choose not to, because like I mentioned, there's bumpy roads. It's not the best, and given that I have EDS and everything is prone to dislocating, I don't want to risk dislocating my shoulders, which kind of sucks because obviously it means less independence for me, but this is how I try and keep my body as healthy as possible, because the more dislocations, the more injuries, the more hospital visits, the more recovery time, and so on, so on. So yeah, as I said, I could, but I don't. And yeah, so that's basically my wheelchair. I use this every time I go out because it's really hard to walk for long periods of time on crutches. However, I try to use the crutches as much as I can just to keep moving. I do yoga and all those things. So that is basically what I do and my mobility aids, and I hope this was helpful and insightful in some way. Just remember that if you see somebody using a wheelchair and getting out of their wheelchair, it doesn't mean they don't need it. People use wheelchairs for a various amount of reasons, and there are so many disabilities out there, you'll be surprised. So just be kind, be compassionate. People don't just use wheelchairs or crutches for attention and for no reason. Nobody wants to use them unless they need them. So yeah, and don't judge people based on their mobility aids or lack of. So yeah, I hope this was helpful and insightful. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Click that like button down below and subscribe. Thanks for being here.